Hi, I'm Francesca. I'm a public artist. I make work with communities and gardens to improve public spaces and create habitats.
Karen, we're in Aberdeen, part of the Nuart Festival, and we've been pottering around the streets today. Can you tell us what we've been doing?
So I brought a few pieces to install, a few small mosaics that explore a little bit about public space, just throw in a few words and images, and alongside the little mosaics there are a few micro gardens that contain oak trees and a few peas, which will obviously result in a little bit of the fruition of peas in time, if they're allowed to grow.
So you bring in a little bit of nature back to the city?
Yes. I mean, I was pretty struck by the Granite City, the uniformity of the colour, and also the lack of street trees, actually. So I do often put trees in different places around cities, and it does seem like Aberdeen has a little bit of a lack of that. So yeah, I was quite glad, even in a very small way, to add to that.
So these micro gardens, this is something you do a fair bit of, isn't it? Can you tell me something more about that whole thing?
Well, they really vary in scale and in use. So sometimes they're commissioned, sometimes they can be on quite a large scale, something that's really part of the whole movement of social and community farming. So in places they really will be on quite a large scale, but often they're small symbols and ideas, visual ideas about what's possible and how we could be using space and how we could be moving towards more self-sufficiency and good use of land.
So this is a reminder for people, basically, when people see these little tiny, wooden boxes with the tree and the peas.
Yeah, I'd say so. They're symbols, yeah.
So aligned with them, you do these plaques. Can you tell me about the plaques that you've put up in Aberdeen, first of all?
Well, I've been putting plaques up in quite a lot of different places in the UK, so I thought I'd bring some to Aberdeen too. And so, they're mixed media, so they're made of tiles, ceramic tiles, a little bit of text, and also objects that I make from clay. So it's a combination, it's like a collage, really.
And so the themes that you've done in the Aberdeen, what are those, and what were the ideas behind the ones that you've done in Aberdeen?
Well, as part of this whole kind of exploration, I suppose, of public space, which is what this street art festival really demonstrates in such a fantastic way, how public space can be taken back by individuals and by communities, and I always aim to be a part of that. So even though I feel like Aberdeen is not completely consumed with advertising like some parts of certain cities are, it's still nice to put ideas and thoughts out into public space that are nothing to do with buying or selling. In fact, they're about something quite different.
So what's your background as an artist?
Well, I've worked for 25 years making work for public space. I've worked in collaboration with Carrie Reihart and ATM. We had a community arts company for about 10 years where we worked in schools and colleges and did huge amounts of outreach work, sometimes with youth centres and again in different places in and out of the UK. And yes, so it's a huge body of work, actually. I mean, we did at one time have huge ambitions to do, stretches of mosaic, and we're being fairly successful in that, actually. It's ongoing.
You've been a ceramicist for a while as well yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. So I've been mosaicing for like 25 years. Yeah.
And in Aberdeen, you've obviously been working with Carrie, who we just mentioned. What is it that you've been doing with her as part of this?
So Carrie came and did the research about the legacy of the witch trials here, and also an exploration into the incredible knowledge and history of individual women of Aberdeen that have really had a huge impact on that culture. And so I was making the mosaics back in London, and then they were shipped over here, and we have spent the last 5 days installing them site-specific works, beautiful kind of recesses in the walls. Yeah, it's been a lot of work involving a lot of volunteers, but it's completed last night. The final grout was done. Yeah.
It's a tough old process, this mosaicing, isn't it? I tried it once. I remember my wrist didn't recover for about a week.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, it takes time to learn. 10,000 hours or so. We're way beyond that in terms of learning our craft. And the actual process of cementing it into place means it really is there forever now. Tens of thousands of years, well, as long as the buildings are there. Yeah.
Just going back to your community gardens, has there been examples of you've put these little things in public space? Have they ever? Do they last or?
Like a lot of street pieces, that does vary. I've certainly been back to a few. Some of the best examples were along by London Bridge. Coin Street Garden is something that still exists, and also one by City Hall that is still tended. And then the smaller ones, there's quite a few in South London. I tend to make them where there's a space, where there's a space that's just not in use. So, as long as there's no development that takes place, quite often they remain. Yeah. But it also depends on someone tending that space. So I have plans now to do more because it's about habitat creation. Like if you plant, 10 blackthorn trees, you could well be providing the right space for a little bit of feeding for birds. And I want to develop that to involve more nest boxes and actual feeding stations that people will attend to, week by week, especially over the winter.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.